What does it take to be a Knight?
Toughness, grit, physicality.
It takes a hunger to be better day in and day out.
Because here at Creekside, we work to win.
We work for each other.
And for our school.
And when we take the field on Friday nights,
we fight to the end.
not many teams survive after being 0-3.
Not many teams make 17-point comebacks in the fourth.
But we're not like many teams.
Through adversity, we've stuck together.
We beat our rivals.
We won our first district championship.
We've earned our first home playoff game in school history.
And we're not done yet.
We've made some history this year.
And we're ready to make some more. But we're going to need all of you with us tonight.
So come on, Creekside.
Let's hear you tonight. We're calling all Knights.
The Creekside Crazies.
The power of Creekside.
It's time for playoff football.
Are you ready?
Welcome into Creekside Gameday, the first home playoff game in school history for the Creekside Knights taking place tonight. We got the power of Creekside with us. We should have some students. We got a great live episode of Creekside Gameday. How about that to kick us off? Welcome everyone into Creekside Gameday on Schlick Sports. I'm Noah Schlicksup alongside Oscar Earl and Brody McGuff. We've got a great show ahead. Later on, we'll be joined by Coach Sean McIntyre and Christian Miller for our predictions. But first, I want to thank everybody for coming out. The power of Creekside, how about that? Let's start off getting into our matchup breakdown. Creekside and Seminole. Big time matchup. The Knights come in as the home underdogs here in the playoffs. The 7 seed versus the 2 seed. Seminole 8-1 with one forfeit win. They were 7-2 before the first academy got busted for some recruiting violations. However, Creekside, they feel like they got a shot in this one. They come in 5-5. First district championship in school history. They've got the first home game in school history. How are you expecting the atmosphere to be out here tonight?
Should be very live. I'm thinking first home playoff game. I think there's got to be a lot of fans here tonight, a lot of parents coming out, a lot of maybe alumni that got some free time to come out here and enjoy a great playoff game that everybody's very excited for.
Oscar, what are some differences between playing in a regular season and a postseason game, especially as a Creekside Knight? How does this team go about prepping for the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, me and Brody have experience. We've had playoff games in the last 2 years, and I mean, it's exciting. You know, everything's on the line. It's win or go home, and I mean, I know our boys are going to be ready to play, and it's just a lot more exciting. Everything's on the line. You got to open up your playbook, got to do everything, and leave everything out on the field.
By the way, we got the Creekside Nightmare back here. How are you feeling going into this game? I think he's fired up. We've got a great matchup. Talking about Seminole a little bit now. Creekside's opponent coming into this game, and they're a consistent playoff contender. 6 straight years now in the playoffs. They've won at least one game in the playoffs each of the last 5 years. Oscar, we'll start with you. What are you seeing from Seminole's offense that Creekside's got to watch out for?
Well, Seminole has a very explosive offense. They have a good passing game and good running game. Seminole will look to run the ball tonight as they average a lot of yards on the ground, but their quarterback, who is back from injury, he looks to sling the rock as well. So if Creekside can maybe make them one-dimensional to maybe just run the ball or just throw the ball, I think we'll have a good chance. But they have 2 good receivers, number 10, I believe, and number 4. I mean, they're both very fast, physical, they'll get after you. And their run game, they got a bunch of good linemen. They got a 4-star committed to Miami, I think it is, the right tackle, and he's back from injury. So they're going to look to impose their will on this night's defense. So I can't wait to see that matchup.
Yeah, Max Buchanan, the left tackle, returning for Seminole. And you mentioned it as well, the quarterback Clayton committed to Illinois earlier this week. So obviously his first game after that, the junior expecting himself to have a good night, show out for his new school. Brody, how about their defense? What are you seeing from the Seminoles?
I think their defense is very well stout. They're very well rounded. They got a great D-line alongside some linebackers who run fit very well. They got one lengthy corner, and I think the rest of the DBs aren't as big as a normal Seminole DB would be. I would say they can guard. They're physical. They're fast. Probably wouldn't be running by anybody tonight, but they're very physical at the point of attack, and I think it's going to be hard to run the ball and pass the ball, but that's what happens when you're in the playoffs. You got good teams and good players.
So when Creekside's going up against that defense, what are some ways they can attack it? Because I feel like Creekside's going to have to score quite a few points tonight to come out with the victory.
I would just say do what we do best, do our best plays we can. Again, there's not much holes within this defense. I think as the night goes on, the run fits will get tired. I feel like there's a little undisciplined as a team, and as the night goes on, they'll have a better shot at running the ball for sure. But I think we need to be balanced. I think and if something's working, stick with it. But for the most part, let's be balanced. Let's pass the ball. I would like to see taking shots and first downs, early downs, and on third downs, just open up the playbook.
And the other thing about Seminole, this is their first game in a few weeks. They have not played since October 25th, so they've had a few weeks off. Can that help or hurt a team? What do you feel like we'll see more of tonight?
I feel like it has its pros and cons. They should be a lot more fresh if they just handled practice correctly, didn't go too hard on practice with these kids throughout the bye weeks. But they could be a little bit, rusty, could be a little bit rusty from an in-game feel. But yet again, I think their bodies will feel a lot better, feel a lot recuperated throughout the week, and it could affect their physicalness. It has happened before to me at Creekside when we've had bye weeks or weeks off at a time because of hurricanes or whatever, and we go back into the midst of things, and it could be a little less physical.
Oscar, how does Creekside typically handle a bye week? Do you feel like they've approached that in a similar way, or do you feel like Seminole on the other side, they're doing some different things going about it with that more extended time off?
I think Seminole's doing it a little differently. They have a lot of guys coming off of injury. Their quarterback was injured. They've had that left tackle injured. They had a lot of guys who need to come back for injury, so I'm sure they've made sure they have a lot of rest, but I'm sure this week coming into this matchup, they've made sure to ramp up things because they haven't played in 3 weeks, and you don't want to be rusty coming out in a playoff game at all. So I'm sure they've ramped it up the last week, but I'm sure the last 2 weeks it's been a lot of keeping your guys fresh and making sure everybody's healthy for this matchup.
And how about the football weather? We got a beautiful sunset out here. The temperature at 9 o'clock, it's supposed to dip under 60 degrees. We got low 60s. You guys prefer playing that football weather, or do you enjoy the heat a little bit in the early part of the season?
Well, I mean, this is a late time football matchup. I mean, me and Brody are used to playing in 90-degree heat, even in, October. So I like it a little bit colder. I think it kind of helps me, not get so hot. But I really haven't been able to really play in both. But
I definitely like it colder. I like it. I like the pads popping a little bit better in the cold. You hear it a little bit better. The friction's a little bit better. We'll say it hurts a little bit more, but I kind of like that. I kind of like that when I played football. And I don't know. I love playing when it's dark time before the first snap of the ball, and that was very cool. I think we experienced it like once or twice. I remember playing Bartram our junior year, and the game was dark when we got there. So I love that. I think this is just great football weather. This is where primetime football is, and I'm very excited for the guys that get to play in this type of weather.
Does warming up under the lights add a little adrenaline before the football game?
It's like it gives like an eerie feeling, like you're about to go to war with your brothers. It could be your last game. It could be one of potentially many more of the rest of the playoffs. So it's a win or go home situation, and I know they're very excited to go out there and play with each other. And again, first home game. I mean, there's nothing else that needs to be done to get you excited to play football.
Yeah. And moving on to Creekside, they are feeling good going into this matchup. They know they're the underdogs, but being out of practice this week, I don't feel like they feel that. I feel like they're confident going into this football game. They've got a good game plan. They know how they want to attack this Seminole side. What does Creekside need to do, in your opinion, to come out with the win in this ball game?
Well, for me, I mean, I think we're going to have to open up our playbook for one, and I think we're going to have to be physically sound on offense and defense. I think we're going to have to win the line of scrimmage. They have a lot of big boys up there, but, I mean, I know we're there to meet the challenge, but honestly, just open up our playbook, right? Let everything out on the field. This is potentially your last game. You have to give everything you got. I think Creekside has a great chance, even though they're the home underdogs. I think we have a great chance to win this game.
I think with most teams, records give you a good tell on who they actually are. But I think Creekside being 5-5, I don't really feel like that really tells the full story with our team. I feel like we're a few plays better than that. And going into tonight, again being 5-5 with that record, and people will sit there and say they're not as good as they think, and everybody does that. And you know what? Creekside's been doubted all the time going out through years. We've been doubted going into every game. We're usually not the most talented team. Seminole's going to be the more talented team. We need to go out there and be more disciplined. We need to execute better than these guys. If we execute better than these guys, stay true to our game plan, and open it up like we've been saying this whole time pretty much, I feel like we'd have a really solid shot at least giving them a run for their money.
And to add on to that, Creekside is a couple plays away from being 7-3, right? I mean, there's a couple plays, 5 plays here or a drive there. I mean, Creekside could have a couple more wins than we have right now. So, again, it doesn't tell the full tale, and I think we're a better football team than 5-5, and I think all the boys know, and being a home underdog doesn't mean anything to them. I can promise you that.
Absolutely, and going in this game, I feel like these are the type of games that Creekside prepares for. It's the type of games this program is built to win. They're not the most talented side, and we go through this in every big matchup. There's the 3 things you always have to watch out for, and if Creekside does these, they usually win. Execute, being special on special teams, going out there on offense, not turning the ball over, and on defense, limiting big plays. Tonight, Creekside offensively, to move the football, they're going to have to be balanced. You can't go one-dimensional against this defense. You got to open up the run. You got to figure out a way to pass, and we've got Eros Taufer now back this week. Caleb Taylor-Birch, though, has been the leading receiver the past 3 weeks. What are you seeing that matchup-wise? Do you feel like Birch has got an opening to continue that hot streak in this game? I
feel like Creekside does a very good job with whoever's in the slot to get open, whether it's Birch or Rocco Ripa. But I do think if you're playing 12 yards off at a safety and you're running a cover 4 or man's concept against Birch or Rocco, you got a hard time guarding that. It really just comes to that point of Sean just putting it on him and the O-line giving him enough time to throw that ball. I think we could definitely – I love attacking with our slots. We should do it all night, and then the occasional bomb to Aristoffer.
And then Harrison Garrido at running back. You've seen him against some of these teams. He seems to be very consistent. How big is he for the Knights offensively in this game?
As we saw when we didn't have him against Rains, he was out the first play of the game. Our offense kind of stuttered. So getting him back, and now that he's fully healthy, I mean, I think it really just helps us so much. He's such an important an important fact in our offense of catching the ball and running the ball. He does such a good job, and he's just such an important piece in our offense. And it can really open up the pass game when we're running it consistently with him. And if you run it 3 times, you're going to get at least a first down. I mean, he can break a hole too and break one off for you. And like you saw it in Bartram, and got it off to a fast start.
And Creekside's always been dependent on backs. So, I mean, we can go back to my memory, Preston Strope. You know, he was a big staple. And then we had Nicky Williams. And then when Nicky went down, Garrido was here. I mean, even our backup, Parker Herron, when he's getting in the game against Rains, he stepped in and played well. I think he ran for around 120 yards. So running the ball is very important at Creekside. It's what we need to do to win games. I think for any team that's true, but especially here at Creekside. Got to be gritty with the O-line, and we need to block well for him. So we can use some explosive plays from Garrido tonight for sure.
And the O-line's going to need to step up. This is a team in Seminole that has over 120. They have 120 tackles for loss, over 40 sacks. This D-line has gotten after it this season. So in tonight's ball game, you got to keep Sean Aschenfelder clean. You got to keep him healthy. And I think you got to be able to find ways to run the ball with him as well, as he's just as dangerous running the ball as he is throwing it.
I agree. I mean, Sean, he hits that edge and he's gone, right? He's good at extending plays as well, and that's what I want to see from this Creekside team. The Seminole linebackers like to flow to the ball really hard. If you just put that mesh out there, the linebackers will flow. So the quick game will be really important for Creekside tonight, as we saw against Spruce Creek. I think if Sean can get the ball out quick and hit those receivers on those slants or out routes, I think we'll have a lot of success in that.
And moving over to the defensive side of the football, Brody, you've been in this defense. Last year, you were one of the big pieces in it. What does this defense need to do to execute against a side that's a little bigger, more athletic than them?
For sure, just do the staple things. obviously tackle, but we need to execute and do our jobs very well. Doing our jobs is the most important thing to do tonight, and we need to execute our game plan to the best of possibility. I've been saying it all week that Tice Donnelly and Sebastian Martin, I think this game, with the run game and pass game, revolves a lot around them. They need to be here. They need to be here tonight. They need to run fit very well. They need to spill blocks. They need to contain when it's their job to contain. And pass rush. We got the 4-star tackle from Seminole is coming back today, and I think this is the biggest test for Tice Donnelly and Sebastian Martin the whole year going against these guys, because our defense flips, so they'll be going. Each of them will be getting their fair shot at them, and I think it's a put up or shut up time for both of them, and to really see, like, are we made for this moment? And also, just sum up things a little bit. Linebackers just need to tackle, do their job, getting pass drops. I'm sure the game plan is very well for them. And DBs, just stay over top, the best possibility. They're going to get some big plays. It's going to happen. That happens in Creekside games. And if they just do that very well, I think we'll have a really good shot.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to talk about defensively, Jackson Earl made the switch to corner in their last game against Ponte Vedra. He got a pick. Oscar, that's your brother. You want to talk a little bit about what he does for this night's secondary?
Yeah, it's huge what he does, and he came over from the running back position. So him making the switch from safety to corner, him being versatile to playing whatever position that the team needs him, whatever is best for the team, I think that's huge. And, you know, he made that great pick. He's got 3 on the season. Might have got robbed out of a couple more, but, you know, it's whatever. But, you know, it's a huge deal. You know, you have all of your important key factors on defense as you can. Obviously, the Lavelle injury hurts, but just having all of those guys in one piece, you know, as if Jackson's not playing safety, he's playing corner, and you can add another guy there. So it's just huge.
And now let's turn it over. We got head coach Sean McIntyre with us. Everybody, let's welcome in Coach Mack. Appreciate you coming on the show, Coach.
Yeah, we'll do that again.
And then we got 3 mics with us, so we'll kind of toss it back and forth. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show. Big playoff game tonight in Creekside's 17-year history. This is the first home playoff game. What's been your message to the guys going into it?
Take advantage of it, right? Like, we love being together. Every team, every season, and Brody and Oscar can speak to this. It goes fast. You know, this group of guys will never be together again once this season ends, and the only way we got a chance to extend it is to win tonight. And, you know, that's not about anything other than us being our best version of ourselves. That's our message every week, and that's what we're going to try to be tonight. If we can do that, we'll be in good hands.
So you guys started off the year 0-3, you know, kind of similar to last year. My question to you is, you know, you guys went 5-5 right now. And I remember 2 years ago, after my junior season, you told us I think the final record was 9-3. You told us we were about 12 to 15 plays away from being 5-5. You're in that situation right now. Yeah. So I think you guys are just about there to be 7-3, but you're also could have been a couple big plays to be 3-7. So what is your message to your team? Because being 5-5 could be a little discouraging, and I know there's a lot of noise outside being a 5-5 team in a playoff bracket.
Yeah, I don't think our kids care. I think that you know, we've played a really tough schedule. We played the toughest schedule in the region, and they're confident in what they're doing, and they just know they got to play their best and play to the best of their ability. And if they can do that, we'll be all right. So, you know, and just like every year, that 9-3 year, we're real close to 5-5, and I think this year we know we're pretty close to like 7-3, 8-2 type season. Couple plays here and there, you know. Sure. And that's the kind of game that this is going to be. It's going to come down to 5-10 plays, and it's going to decide the difference of the game. If we make those plays, we're going to be in good shape. If not, we're not. So.
We got a question for you from Oscar, so we're going to need to toss that mic around.
And Coach, last question is, you know, you've overcame a lot of adversity. I know you always talk to us about that. That's kind of what I took away from you being my coach, you know, through injuries and guys not playing positions and having a harder schedule, a different district this year. How in an overall, how have you overcame adversity this season?
Yeah, we put our job as coaches is to create adverse situations so that when adversity hits, it doesn't impact our kids and the way they play. So we try to literally create adversity on a Tuesday in February, on a Monday in June. Like we try to do it every single day, and I think that's something that we have established here. Our kids always respond really, really well to adversity. So tonight there's going to be adverse situations. It's a really good football team we're getting ready to go play, and there's going to be adversity. And I know how our guys are going to respond because they've been dealing with adversity every day since they've stepped foot here on Creekside High School's campus. So, and I think that is more important even just for life, right? Like everybody here is going to go through bad things at time to time, and making sure that they can deal with those ups and downs of life, much less in a football season, is going to be critically important.
Last thing I got for you, Coach, because you got a playoff game to go get ready for, go get out on the field. What's your message to the Power of Creekside? People came out. People that are watching that are going to come out to the game. What's your message to Knights Nation ahead of this
Hey,
one?
man, be loud, be proud. I'm proud to be a Creekside Knight. I know these guys are proud to be a Creekside Knight. Noah's awesome to be here. We're lucky. We are lucky to have stuff like this. Don't take it for granted. It is an awesome thing. Come on out. Let's go Knights.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you, Noah.
Thanks for joining the show. Coach Sean McIntyre, everybody. So we got Christian Miller joining us here in a minute, but before Christian comes on, at the end of the night, what do you think the storyline is going to be? Creekside and Seminole, what's going to be the headline for this football game?
I think it's going to be, can we contain their big players? And I'm thinking Creekside could do it. I think they got a very good shot tonight. I've been saying it. I think if they just be very disciplined, I think the headline will be big stunner in Northeast Florida. But also it ain't a stun to us because Creekside, we've done upsets before, and we'll do it again. And
now it's time. Let's bring on Christian Miller. Christian, welcome to the broadcast. Time now to make some predictions. And Christian, thank you for joining the show. How are you feeling? How are you enjoying this night's football season?
Feeling great. I don't remember last time we had something like this when I was at school, so the fact that the whole school is coming together and making something special for the guys in their first playoff game at home, we love it out here.
You ready to make some predictions?
Of course.
All right, let's get this started. First up, we got Ponte Vedra and Beachside, a local matchup, PV and Beachside in the same district, close quarters. This one being played at PV. Oscar, who you got for this ball game?
Yeah, they already played this season and Ponte Vedra won, so because of that, I'm going to go Beachside by 1,000,000.
Bold.
Yeah. For me, I would say, I saw Ponte Vedra play last week, I feel like we definitely could have won that game for sure after seeing that. Beachside is a strong team, and I feel like, I've never seen PV win. Last year they lost to Nice on their field, and then they beat us on the same field. So I don't know if they had the same record on their same home turf, so I'm going to go with Beachside for this one.
Brody, who you got in this one?
They already played earlier. I think it was a low-scoring game. I think it was sub-20s or around there. So a defensive battle for sure, but I think Beachside's offense is just a little bit better, and I think it's hard to beat a team twice, kind of what happened to us when we played PV twice last year. So I'm going to go Beachside by 2 scores.
Next one we got here is my prediction for this one, by the way. I'm going Beachside. Same thing. It's really tough to beat a team twice in the same season, and I think Beachside, they're a quality football team, comes out with the win. Next game up, another local matchup, Mandarin and Oakleaf, another 4-5 matchup, Mandarin at home. Oscar, who you got?
Yeah, Mandarin versus Oakleaf, another game that's already been played this season. Mandarin's going to be the home team in that. Tramel Jones has got injured this season and is not going to play in this game, but they still do have Jamie French, and for that reason, I will go Mandarin.
Right. I know we've been talking about how it's hard to beat a team twice, but I feel like Mandarin just has those guys that they can put together, beating them one time. I feel like they can do it again, even without their star quarterback. I feel like they can put a great offense together, make their defense strong, and they can come in to win. So I'm going to go with Mandarin for this one.
This one's, I think, the toughest one on the board. I think it's the closest game, the 4 seed versus the 5 seed. I think both teams are a little bit better than people think. It's a very hard one. Again, they played already. It was a close game for the most part, and again, I think it's hard to beat a team twice. I think I'm going to go Oakleaf here. Is going to shock Mandarin and send them home in the first round.
As the great Lee Corso would say, Christian, not so fast. I'm going Oakleaf in this game again. Hard to beat a team twice, and Coach Foy, great coach over there. I think that program's ready to go. Now moving into Creekside's region, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed, and Lake Mary and DeLand. I think Lake Mary comes away with a blowout win.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lake Mary rolls.
Yeah, I think seeing a 1 seed versus the 8 seed, I feel like it's the obvious choice. But, I'm going to be a little lenient. I'm going to give them a little bit of hope. So we're going to go and take the over-underdogs right here and go with DeLand.
That's a big-time bet right there. Okay.
I'm feeling something. No, I'm not. I'm not feeling anything. I got Lake Mary. Lake Mary by a lot.
The 4 seed and the 5 seed, Flagler Palm Coast and Spruce Creek. Again, 2 teams that have faced off in the regular season. Flagler Palm Coast won the first time. Brody, who you got in the playoffs?
Starting to realize looking at it that a lot of these teams have played already, and I think that's very unique and that's very cool. But FPC and Spruce Creek, man, you've been telling me Flagler Palm Coast is a little inconsistent, and I know Spruce Creek is a very good team. I think I'm going to go Spruce Creek here by 2 scores.
You know, I've seen Spruce Creek a little bit play, but I haven't really seen much from FPC, so just based off of what I've seen, you know, number 4 seed versus number 5 seed, I'm going to go with the 5 seed, Spruce Creek, coming away with this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Spruce Creek in this one. We've already seen them play this season, so they're a pretty good football team, and I am not a big fan of Flagler Palm Coast, so I will go Spruce Creek.
So in between these picks, we got the Creekside football team walking into the stadium right now. Let's get a hand for these guys as they go out for their first home playoff game in school history. Big time game. Those guys getting ready to go. You love to hear it. The winner of this game will face the winner of University and Winter Park, the 3 and the 6 seed. University, the 3 seed. Winter Park, the 6 seed. And by the way, I got Spruce Creek for that last one. Flagler Palm Coast and Spruce. University and Winter Park. Oscar, who you got?
Yeah, we've seen Winter Park play this season, and I'm not too high on them, so I will go University, the 3 seed.
I'm going to go, you know, I haven't really seen University play, but, you know, they earned that number 3 seed, so I'm going to have to go with University for this one, too.
Yeah, again, I haven't really seen University play, but the 3 seed, I'm assuming they're pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to take University on this one, not too high in Winter Park like Oscar.
Here's the opening for Winter Park. Is University, much like Lake Mary, the 1 seed, they've both had issues running the football this season. If they can go out there and make them one-dimensional, which you got a shot to do, we got rushing touchdowns against Winter Park, but we didn't get too many yards against them with our running back. If they can slow down the run, they got a chance. And just to keep this one from growing all across the board, I'll say the 6 seed Winter Park comes away with an upset victory over University. And now for the matchup that everyone is here for, Creekside and Seminole at the Castle. Big one tonight, guys. Creekside comes in the underdogs. Oscar, what are you thinking for the Knights?
Yeah, you know, this will be a very high-scoring game to me. I think this will be a great matchup. You know, obviously, as we've said, first home playoff game, our guys are going to be ready. I think Seminole's going to be a little rusty, and I'm going to have the 49-48 Creekside victory in this one. Very high-scoring game.
That's a close one. That's a close one. You know, Seminole's talented team. Of course, they're the number 2 seed, but, you know, Creekside has dogs every single year. Every single year they come in doubted. Every single year they always make an upset, as we've seen last year. So we're taking Creekside with this one, of course, and I feel we're going to come away with a home playoff win.
It's a good prediction, solid prediction, not against that one at all. Again, it's the same story. Creekside against a big powerhouse team. Seminole, usually a playoff winner. They usually go far. But I think it would be a pretty cool night to see them get stopped in the first round. I got Creekside winning a little bit slower than Oscars. I don't think we can put up that much points. Defense needs to play a little bit better. I'm going to go 31-35 Creekside.
As for my prediction, I think Seminole, year in and year out, they're a powerhouse, you know. This year, I feel like if there's a year they make the playoffs, they lose round 1, this is the year. I don't feel like they're as loaded as they have been in past years. They've shown some inconsistency. They've shown a few holes throughout the season. I think this is one where Creekside really has a realistic shot to beat them. However, I was talking to C Money, shout out C Money here earlier. He said, I was talking with Coach Maribel about this, and he goes, if we win this game, is it within 10 points? What's the margin? I say, if Creekside wins, it's within 7. If we lose, it's probably more than that. I think Creekside, they get the job done. They do their job out on the football field, and in the end, we come away with a 38-35 nail-biting victory. The Castle's going to be rocking. I think this is one of those nights where you can feel the bleachers shake. It's going to be a fun one. If you guys can make it out to the Castle, the first home playoff game in school history. It's going to be a blast. I want to thank everyone, the power of Creekside, for coming out to this episode of Creekside Game Day. Thank you all for tuning in. I can think of no better way than hearing this school's fight song to bring us out. So let's hear it. The power of Creekside, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in.